Welcome back to Steady Focused. I am your host, I am your number one, Mr. SimeonHendrix. And today we're going to talk about what exactly is a neutral density filter and how can it help you get a better shot.
Simeon, I don't care what you do today, but you're not going to stop until we interview.
A neutral density filter is sunglasses for our lens. And so what that does is it's going to give us the ability in a very bright day like we are right now. So if I just turn on my, I've got the T3i right here and I've got it set up in movie mode. And so to get my correct exposure right now, I've got my f-stop, which is my aperture. It's very, very small. And so that's just a, right? Yeah, it's very, very small. And that's allowing just a little bit of light in because it's so bright. Now, what does it matter? Let's just pretend for a second that the GH4 that I'm shooting into, that's my subject. Well, you see right now I've got my aperture set to 22, so it's extremely small. And what I'm having to shoot it like that so I can get my correct exposure, because you know when you're shooting video, in video you have to set your shutter speed to double your frame rate. So I like the cinematic look. I'm shooting at 23.9, 87, 86, and so I double that and that gives me 50. So I don't really have a lot of leeway that I can move around my my shutter speed. So I set my shutter speed to 50. I turn my ISO down as low as it can go because it's so bright. And then I've got, so that leaves me that I got to have my aperture set to 22 because it's so bright. When we have our aperture set very, very small to the high number, everything's in focus. But I want a very dynamic and I want to pull the viewer in to the photograph. So what I need to do, I need to have a very shallow depth of field and I need my aperture to be a lot lower. And you guys can see right here, if I just start adjusting my aperture and I take it all the way down, let's say I want it really, I want it very shallow. You can see right now I drop it down to 1.8 and I'm completely, totally blown out. Everything is blown out. So what's my solution? The solution is a neutral density filter, which is the sunglasses for your camera. Now I recommend, I'll tell you guys, get a Tiffin variable neutral density filter. This one's got 8 different stops. I did a lot of research online and I'm just telling you, just get this one. It's awesome. Neutral density filter. And you can get this thing right here. It's called a step-up ring. And so that works for all the different lenses that you have. They're all going to have, the barrel is going to have a different diameter. This one actually is 52 millimeters. And so you can get a step-up ring, a set of them. It's going to be a lot of different sizes. And then that's going to allow you to purchase one time a neutral density filter, which this is kind of expensive. It's over $100, but it's below $200. And so instead of buying one of these for every lens that has a different diameter, you can just buy a set of step-up rings and that's going to make it fit. So get your neutral density filter, get a 77 diameter. I think that's about as wide as any lens that you're going to get, and then get step-up rings. So what you do is you just screw. Hello, Lonnie. Good to see you. No, not at all. You're good. And so what you're going to do, you take your you take your step-up ring like this, okay, and then you just screw it on, bam, like that, okay. So I'm going to screw that all the way in, and then watch what's going to happen. Then I'm going to screw my neutral density filter onto the end of my 50 milli right here, 50 millimeter lens, and I'm screwing this onto the end. Okay, just like that. Okay, so now if you see this on someone's lens, that's what they're doing. So now you can see, all right, now I want to drop my, I want to go ahead and give me that very, very shallow depth of field. So I'm going to drop it down, and then there you go. Now you can see, let me just get everything in focus right here. So now you can see that I have an extremely shallow depth of field. I'm shooting directly into the sunlight. I'm now at a 2.0, and that's gonna draw the focus of the person. It's going to come straight in on the image. And as you can see right here, my subject is totally in focus, and I have a very extremely shallow depth of field. So guys, there you go. A neutral density filter, it can be awesome. It can be your best friend. The neutral density filter is going to be directly tied to the amount of blurriness or the depth of field that you want in your shot. So here it is, guys. This is a variable neutral density filter. I believe it has 8 stops. It's by a brand called Tiffin. Just get it. Get this one time and get step-up rings that you can put so you can use this one thing on all your different lenses that have different barrel width. Thank you so much to Casey Burt. This was a question that he sent in, and I appreciate it. Keep the two-way conversation going. I want to hear from you. I want to answer your questions because every time I answer a question for you, it helps me understand a little bit better about myself and understand the camera more. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, I am your host. I am your number one, SimeonHendrix, and this is Steady Focus.